Good morning. So today we're going to talk about events, and events have been sometimes for people have been the lifeblood of their businesses, either to promote their products or their programs and their services, or to get connections, or to be able to fulfill a membership, to be able to recruit things of that type. We've seen a lot of conventions, trade shows, from smaller luncheons and all different mediums. We've seen them in different places, whether it can be in a ballroom or we've had them in on yachts in Marina Del Rey, or they're in beauty salons. So you can actually have events any place, anywhere, and any time. So now, since the pandemic, people have been steering more towards the virtual events. And many of us have had virtual events over the years, but we just kind of never really, it was not a lot of emphasis put on it as it has been rather recent. So I'm going to talk about the live events and the virtual events, and then the hybrid, which has again been around for a very long time. Many times you've gone to an event where they've had people that are not there in person, but they've had been able to purchase tickets and be able to enjoy it via live stream or via video, or even people that have had a main room. But I've seen people in other rooms that had access to the monitors, but not necessarily access to the main room itself. I know I saw that years ago in Tony Robbins' event. Um, when we were able to do that. So being able to find out a couple of things we want to keep in mind. And then Jennifer, we had some great ideas for you, so we'll share with them afterwards. So stay tuned. Is that
Yeah,
first of
sorry, I
all,
lost my internet,
I
so
know,
apologize.
I think we're all having internet problems down today, so that's no problem. So I think the main thing to keep in mind is your events is that what type of event you want to have. What is the purpose of the event? So there's all these different models. You have an event again where it can be a summit. We talked about a summits where you have a variety of different people participating in their panels or speakers. It could be for an hour, it can be for a series of weeks. There's different models from that point on. The summits can also be a solo event where just you yourself are basically hosting the whole event and speaking throughout the most event, sharing information or experiences, or you can have again with multiple amount of people. The reason why you have multiple amount of people is that many times that you'll have that many more people that are promoting the event with you if everyone plays full out, and you usually get a larger group, and many times people record the events so you can actually have a product to be able to sell thereafter. Some events people, or if you do a solo, you have a product that you want to sell thereafter, so you simply spend the time educating people on the value of that product, program, or service. So those are kind of the summits. Again, there's a lot of different variations. Some people charge to attend the summits, anywhere from $47 I've seen to $999 for a summit. Some people do it for free, again, to be able to enroll people into memberships or other programs, or to sell or purchase a product. So whatever way that is interest of you, think about what you want to do first. Even a webinar. Webinar is something that's people have been doing forever, to usually to enroll people or to educate people. That's a virtual event. That's an event. People have watch parties now, where watch a movie, or you watch a show, or you watch an event. You probably see them, a lot of them now, online concerts and online comedy shows and classes. It could be informative. It can be entertaining. So again, decide what kind of event you want to be able to do, and what your intention is. It could be a party. We've had wine parties where this my community, we had physical or in-person wine parties before COVID. So we took it online, and we had the certain wines that we were going to taste, and we had them delivered to everyone's home. So we'd be able to taste. We had a sommelier. We could be able to taste the wines and interact that way. We did it for like 4 months in the beginning. People have dinner parties. We've had dinner parties where everybody has a menu, and they prepare the same dinner or different dinners. They talk about it as they're preparing, and they sit and have a conversation about the topic while they're doing it. We're planning a watch party for Hamilton. I have it. I'm going to play it. And I had to test it first on Zoom, and we're going to watch it and get popcorn and just have something else we can watch together to bring our community and our members together. So there's different type of things you can do. People are doing birthday parties. I did a virtual birthday party. It was a pajama party. So we actually used different techniques where people will talk to each other and they shared information, and we had we shared your birthday cakes, because I have a lot of friends that are Virgos, as well as your pajamas, and we did a pajama dance. So it's just kind of little things that you can do now that we've had to be creative with the virtual events, but these are things that a lot of people have taken from the live events. So you think about what you want to do. Then you think about who you're doing it for. Are you doing it for potential clients? Are you doing it to talk earlier about getting investors? Are you doing it for classmates? Are you doing it for your membership group? Are you doing it for a mastermind group to be able to maintain the community? So who are you doing it for? The younger ones, the middle-aged, the older ones, who's your target market, is your avatar, is it, so that has a lot to do with how you construct this event. So what you want to do, and then who you want to do it for. Again, if you're doing it for people that are just really energetic, then you want to have a lot more activities, a lot more interaction. So you want to be able to include all those things and think about all those things when you're doing it. Um, we used to have our live events was our mastermind dinners once a month for women that are have built for our Let's Talk Success program, and these are women that have built multi-million-dollar businesses. And we'd have for first Friday of the month, we'd have a small group of 8 women, and these are we call them our host speaker would come in and they would share the stories, challenges, victories, and secrets to success to the ladies. We'd have dinner, and then they'd coach individual ladies on their businesses. And it was great because they got the information, they got the coaching from someone who's actually been there and done that. So now we've paused it since COVID, and did a couple of features on the ladies 1 month in June, so that those ladies that we have booked, they're able to stay participant. But now we're thinking about incorporating that on a virtual way. So again, think about different things that were once live, because a lot of people, even after this COVID, are not going to go back to a lot of live events because they feel that economically it's much more economical to do the virtual, and it's going to be a while before people feel totally comfortable in going out to big events, and then that they realize you can incorporate or conclude so many more people by doing a virtual event, or you can do it hybrid. So again, you've got who you're speaking to, what type of event you want to have, and then when, like what type of day. If you're having a lot of people from other countries or other East Coast, West Coast, and what the time of day is going to be important for people to be able to participate. You have to do it in a time that is to be available for everybody. How long is it going to be? If you're doing it starting at 6 and then until 9, well, that would be actually 9 o'clock and then at midnight for people East Coast. So what type of day, the time zones, and so forth. And then the why, the who, what, when, and why. The why is important. Like, what do you want to accomplish from this event? Like Adana was saying, she wants to build membership. So that's your goal, that's your accomplishment. So you can keep that. She's going to incorporate that throughout the event. If your goal is to get investors, if your goal is to educate, if your goal is to I think our goal is to do our events that we're doing, even considering this event, is to keep our community together, to one, be able to let our members that are usually at our live events, to keep them involved and keep them, in our fold, as well as be able to recruit new members, people that are not members, to be able to see the value and be able to meet and connect with some of the ladies that are currently members. So that was our intention for even doing the coffee and conversations. So we used to do it in person for years, but now we're doing it virtually. So that's our why. So think about why you want to do the events, what your goal is, what you want to accomplish. Even if it's for a certain dollar amount, like we have certain projects we're working on where we say, okay, our goal is to generate X amount of dollars. Then you can think about what you're going to incorporate to be able to accomplish that goal. And what experience you want people to have. Again, if they're younger or they're energetic, you want it to be lively, and that's accomplished with different music. We have different events where we have music every time we start, music every time we're leaving for a break. We also have we combine the videos with the music. So we use music videos to be able to that way, we have a visual for those who are not leaving the computer, and they can do more than just listen. They can still listen. They can still watch the videos. We've incorporated maybe motivational videos, to be able to share that motivation to get people, in line with being able motivated to be able to accomplish their goals. You can also have, whether you want to have one screen, two screens. I've seen people 3 screens behind them. Some use it like a kind of almost like a DJ kind of thing. Some people use different props, again, having different backgrounds. We can use backgrounds even as far as your screens, backgrounds you have. We did an event recently, the Real Estate Investment Goddesses, where we suggested for them to have backgrounds and have everyone else that was speaking have a background as well. So that I was the MC, so I had a background that matched the branding of the event itself. So little things like that. What do you want your backgrounds to look like if there's multiple people? What do you want the mood to be? Do you want it to be colorful? Do you want it to be bright? Do you want people have brought in lighting? I've seen people bring in even psychedelic lights for the party atmosphere. Do so just being able to keep in mind visually, what do you want people to see? We've done events where we do the wine tasting, we have a lot of candles, so we wanted people to have, candles, make it really romantic and neat. So this what kind of mood do you want people to have and do? Think about all those things to be able to create that production value, because it is a production, especially depending on your topic. But you want to be fun. I've seen people bring in dancers in the background. They'll be talking about something, but they have dancers in the background. So depends on your event. Think about producing it as you would really produce a production. The good news is that for now, it's not as expensive as you actually do if you were in a live production, because traditionally the AV costs, the music, the location, and the food and things of that type are much more expensive. We've had people say, like we had a dinner party event where we had people sign up. We had people receive a dinner from Purple Carrot. It was about health and wellness. So they ordered and everybody received that dinner, and they made the dinner so they were able to talk about that dinner. So do you want to send, again, something in advance? We will send boxes of little gifts or of makeup. If you're doing a makeup event, send a box of different sample makeups. You could do the makeup event and demonstrate it. People will be doing it involved. My facialist, she had she people wanted to use or know what people wanted to give themselves facials, like she did. So she created a package of the products that she used, and she's for a fee she sent it out to everybody, and then she did a demonstration party. So where she could show us how to use those products and how to the motion of the hands and things of that type. So it was incentive for us to be able to maintain our facial during the pandemic. I've seen people with the hair, the same thing with hair. They've actually sent, hair, people have hair extensions, sent people, everyone the hair, and they actually demonstrate on how to do and how to use certain things. So it can be actually hands-on instructional type of thing, or it can be more of a audio. So think about and all the different things that components you want to have for it. Plan, rehearse, prepare. I know when we did our events, we thought about, we tried different rooms, different locations in the house, upstairs, downstairs, what our backgrounds alike. So we decided every day, it was a 5-day event, we changed our background. Just to change the background, the visibility, I just decided what I was wearing to match the background. So if we had a white background, I wore black. If I had black background, I wore white. I mean, we were thinking about little things like that. How many cameras are you going to have? Are you going to have a main camera that you work from a computer from Zoom? Are you going to have additional cameras? Are you going to have additional lighting? And again, the music. So I actually had a person that I called my director back doing things like that. So then my hands were off of it, and I could just concentrate on delivering the content. So decide how many people you need to work with you remotely. We've had people work with us remotely as far as our Zoom, being able to handle the breakout sessions, whether you want to have keeping people in the chat. So how much interaction do you want from your community? And I think it's really important, especially when you're doing virtual events, because many times people are, they have it on and they're doing other things, multitasking, which is common. But if you want people to really attend, we've had some events where people say on camera only, where there's only maybe a lunchtime, whatever, you're allowed off camera. So they insisted that you were on camera, so they wanted you present with it. They also did a lot of chat interaction. Everything they said almost like chat this, chat that, chat this, to keep people involved. They had a lot of breakout sessions so that people could actually network and connect with each other on different topics they discussed, or different activities they did in breakout rooms. They've had situations where you could actually, I've seen the breakout rooms, I've seen the chat, I've seen people, giving people spotlights, spotlighting people where you were dancing in one of the events. And so they were dancing, spotlighting people, putting the camera on, so to speak, on people that were dancing. And we followed them as they were dancing. So it's a lot of different things that you're going to be able to do to keep people involved, make it fun, make it, positive, and make it impactful. So with those different ideas, we have to think about what the revenue streams are. And most of the revenue streams are applicable to all the different options, whether it's virtual, live, or hybrid. So we'll think about one of the most basic is the ticket sales. Again, whether it's going to be a ticket sales, they pay X amount of dollars for attending the event. And I've seen that it doesn't really vary. People thought it had to be much less expensive because it's virtual, or not necessarily. Now, many times if you have a hybrid event where you have a live portion and you have a virtual portion, then yes, the live event, usually the price point is higher because to a producer, a person that's producing it, it's more expensive. You have to pay for the location, you have to pay for a lot more than you do if you're doing the virtual component of it. So usually the people that do the virtual component of it, it's less expensive. But and that's a great thing because you're able to reach more people for that same live event. So you're doing one event as opposed to just having it people there. You're able to extend it to maybe thousands of people like digitally, and that revenue will really add up if they're being able to do it virtually. So you can have a special ticket. The tickets can have different prices for the tickets. For example, you can have again a live version and a different price for a virtual version. You can have a VIP where people will be invited maybe the evening before or a couple of hours before, whether it depends on the event, where they have special access to the speakers or to the producer themselves, or just again a wine party or whatever the case may be. So they pay a higher ticket for that. We've done that and for live events, which the same thing can be done virtually, where then maybe the night before, or it's a special luncheon or dinner, where after the day you have like a half an hour break, and people that pay for that VIP perhaps would be able to you send them a bottle of wine or you'll send them something, coffee or whatever it is, and they can actually enjoy and have more interaction and smaller interaction with again the speakers or special speaker at some that point. That's another way of being able to get additional revenue from that one event. And people do it again a couple times. They do it, we've done it where we had for our summit, after the summit, for anyone that enrolled, we had a special celebration that happened after a half an hour after the last day. And that celebration, we had our drinks and so forth, but we also had a special exercise. That was really a really powerful exercise that they did together, which was a bonding experience, and they were able to bond and meet the other members and feel something special. So you can incorporate it, whether it's the front, the middle, the back end, something additional, something special, as either a financial incentive or just as an incentive for participating and enrolling. So you have the ticket sales. Then you also have marketing tables. People say, how do you marketing tables in a virtual event? Well, again, it's easy for the live event. Those are the tables that people sell different things. And it would be easy for a hybrid event where you can have that and people can see it. On a virtual event, you would simply give them like give them wouldn't necessarily a table, but we give them a time. We had a sponsor, which we gave them an X amount, 5 minutes every day before lunch. So that they had, so you can promote someone specifically, create a time, create a way. Say, for example, if it's a jeweler, whatever that jeweler person, if they were making jewelry, could do, say, okay, for at this time, we're going to present our so and so. So that jeweler will be able to show different jewelry or be able to make something and sell it during that time. So they can still sell during that time. They can still have access to them after the event. You can say for another hour after the event, we're going to have all of our different marketing tables. So it could be a jeweler, it could be a fashion, it could be anything that's related. That's how you can still do a virtual marketing tables. That would be our like virtual version of it. Just giving them some time, dedicated time, and people dedicated access. Say, for example, you did it in a breakout room. You can say, okay, now we're going to do a breakout room with this particular um, marketing table, and give them the opportunity of being able to market and talk and chat and sell their different products. You can also have the ability for them to have a link where they can go onto the website and buy the products, so they can actually people can actually say, "There's my link," and be able to go into their to the website and actually purchase it right then and there. So there's ways of being able to incorporate that type of to facilitate and generate that type of revenue for your event. If you had other people that want the same target market, marketing tables, and we've talked about sponsorships. That's really, I mean, again, really a really valuable source, and many times that is the biggest financial source of revenue for events. For live events, sponsorships has been critical because we designed sponsorships to pay for our whole event, so that we knew that everything else, if the ticket sales, anything else, was all profit. So you have an event that's going to cost you $10,000, you get the sponsorships, and then when the sponsorships, then you for $10,000, then everything you make from the ticket sales, everything other marketing tables, everything else, there's a pure profit for you. So kind of think about what you're going to need and what you're going to want, and get sponsors to do it. It's really easy. If you have a niche market, then people that want that niche market, it's great. And again, you can incorporate a market sponsorship package where they get the visibility on maybe your event page, the page that you use to promote the event. They can have your sponsors there. So that, and they can have a live links. I put live links so that people can actually um, click on and purchase, or click on to get a free sample, or click on to get a free download, whatever the case may be. They can actually click on from your event page, the promotion of your page. They can also include it on every email that you send out, every email, every promotion on your social media, where else, for your Eventbrite, whether it's Meetup, wherever else you're promoting the event. You can actually put that information there so the sponsors are getting that visibility. What's great about that is that you're giving them visibility, even if the person is not signed up for the event, they still get their visibility. So it's easy for you to say, if you have a list of 10,000 people, I'm going to expose you to 10,000 people, or I'm going to expose you, depend 10,000 people plus whatever's on your social media, or what other venues you use to be able to promote the event. So whether they show up or not, you're not totally dependent. Where in a live event, for the most part, if they only promote at the event, it's only going to be visible to people that attend the event. So if it's 100 people, it's 100 people. Whereas again, if you incorporate it on your promotions, on your website, on your social media, then they get much, 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 much more exposure. So it creates more value for them. Then they can also, again, they can be the MC and have say, you're my sponsor, be the MC. You're the person that's going to bring us from session to session. Or you can do, again, the breakout. They can sponsor the breakout sessions. You have a company, maybe like Infusionsoft or whatever, that was decide to sponsor something, then maybe you have two breakout sessions or three breakout sessions. They can be sure, you can make sure that one of them are hosting the breakout session just to get that visibility. Many times they've been wearing their t-shirts, or they're wearing the shirts, they're having the signage in the back. So there's a great opportunity for them to be able to brand themselves and to be able to take advantage of that. They can also have speaking points. They can obviously have a session in the event where they share their information. Again, on our session for Boilerplate, they shared, we did demonstration videos on like how you could use the service. And we did promotion prior to the event. We did promotions after the event. And you can have that if you're selling the event, the product, then the sponsors gets even more exposure, because if you incorporate that in your packaging, then everyone that purchased the product for the life of the product, they will forever see that sponsorship. So again, it's a really great way to be able to monetize it. And they need the same eyeballs, just like you do. If you have a really specific avatar, a really specific audience, then they want that same audience. It's not that difficult at all. And because it has such widespread exposure and such longevity, it's even more powerful again in the virtual events than it was in the live events. And especially in the hybrid events, you can obviously do both. They can be there in person, they can also be in the branding behind the event. Affiliates, sometimes I've done events where maybe we didn't have time to get a sponsor, or we get a sponsor, so we promoted an affiliate. Remember, we talked about affiliates yesterday in our mastermind. Is that it's when you promote someone else's product, program, or service, and you're compensated for it, either through a flat fee or through a percentage of. So, say for example, we did a couple of events where we used Cabbage. Cabbage was especially years ago, Cabbage was a place where entrepreneurs could get, our business people could get funding quickly. And it was regardless of their credit scores, it was based on their cash flow. And so it's access to cash right after um, I would call it the recession in 2008 to 2012. A lot of businesses did not have the credit because they had foreclosures or bankruptcies or whatever the case may be. They were a great resource, and we were given $250 flat fee for everyone that enrolled. So we promoted it. We did and promoted them at our events, and people enrolled. We were still compensated for it. So sometimes that's your way of getting your own sponsors, so to speak. Say, for example, you go to a sponsor. You say, "I want you to sponsor $5,000, for an event." And you would do whatever you need to do and fulfill whatever promises you made for that. Well, suppose there's an example at one point, Infusionsoft were paying $1,200 for a referral fee, or there's some things that we explored yesterday. We were paying $500 for a referral fee. Some of it was not even for a sale; it's for a lead. So say for example, I can have an event and I can promote the event myself, promote the services. I use the service. I can tell you what I used it for. I can really authentically promote it, and people sign up. Then I could have made the same amount of money, or more, because again, that also goes with your your packaging. So if you decide to have the program available for sale, then that lives on forever. as long as that product is there, people can always say, maybe they don't need it now, but maybe 6 months from now, oh, I wonder what this is like. They'll click it and then they can purchase it and they can still receive passive revenue from that. So that's really a huge opportunity to be able to use not only for your websites and your newsletters and your blogs and your videos and your podcasts, but it's also something you can utilize for your events to be able to generate, because it's nothing, you just copy and paste their link, and either people do or people don't. So that's another way. And then also pay to play. There are people that don't have your audience but want your audience. So, for example, there's people that maybe speak, and this could be for live or virtual or hybrid, is that they want women professionals and entrepreneurs because we're very specific in that niche, but they don't have that audience here in California on the West Coast. So they'll simply pay you a flat fee to include them on the event. They can be included on a panel. They can be included on as a speaker keynote. They can be included on, whatever the case may be. They can be included, and then they will just pay you a flat fee for getting so many butts in the seats. So that way you can determine whether you want to do it for people for come for free or whether people come for a fee. What we used to do is that if it's a pay for play, we would promise them X amount of people in the room, and what we would do is that we would charge for it because that would be our profits. But if we found out that towards like 2 days or 3 days before that we didn't meet by that 100 people, whatever that promised member, we would give them away. So we would contact other groups and organizations, say, hey, we have 10 free tickets for any of your new members or anything that you want to give them to. And then that way we'd be able to fill at the event. So we'd be able to fulfill our promise, but we were able to monetize it the best way that we could until we reached that goal. So there's also the combination. You can have events where you have a combination of affiliates and sponsors. You can charge tickets. You can have people that are paying. And then even in the marketing tables, say for example, they didn't pay for the marketing tables, and they make you be affiliate where they pay you a percentage of whatever they make. So many times you've gone to events and you see those triplicate forms where they have a white and a pink and a yellow copy. Many times that's what they're doing. The white copy goes to the customer, the pink copy goes to you or to them, and the yellow copy goes to you or to them. And that's their way of tracking the sales because you're compensated on those sales. So, you can think about creating multiple different ways of being able to monetize the events. And again, also you can just record it, for the virtual events, record it and sell the recording afterwards. But again, even when you're doing that, you can still incorporate, again, sponsorships or affiliates or some things that they can actually directly sell, put something in yourself. Like some of you mentioned that you have products for sale that can be incorporated in it so people can actually download and buy it and take it from there. So it's a lot of different ways that you can work with the events. I think the main thing is this, a couple of things to keep in mind is know exactly and who you want it to be, what your intention is for the outcome of it, and being able to organize it, be prepared, be promoted, promoted in many different ways. One of the best ways to promote it is with people that are part of your group or organization, and then give them affiliate fee for promoting it. We did that as well. Some of our ladies made one of my ladies made almost $3,000 promoting our summit because we paid $200 per person, and she had a family and she preferred like 6 people for her personal group. So you can actually get people an incentive to promote your event, and especially if they're going to attend themselves, because then that's pretty authentic. They're there, they're going to promote it. I know that even like Anthony Robbins, one of the people I know that made over $40,000 promoting his event from people that he referred to his event. So many events, especially live events, they have an affiliate program where if you refer people, you can be compensated. So you can offer the same thing to get people to be a part of. You can also ask the people that are participating, like the people in your panels and your speakers. Now, I asked them that question up front to see if they're willing and able. And that's the question I say: are you willing and able to promote this event with us? And they can either say yes or no. Then I ask them how, because they could say yes, I can promote it with you, but that's all social media. Well, for me, my experience has been that I get the best response from an email promotion. So I would ask them, well, can you send emails? And so how often can you send the emails? And can you send it to your full list, or how much of your list? Because many times people will say, yes, I can send an email out, but it could be to a very small portion. Maybe it's like, 100 people have 20,000 in their list. So sometimes you have to be very specific when you're working with people and you're dependent upon them to promote your event. And then you can decide whether to still have them if they're going to be that much of a natural draw. by having their name and so, being able to drop their name and be that into a natural draw that they don't need to promote it, just to utilize their name will bring people to the table. Or you decide to find and participate with somebody who can promote more and that will actually play with you. That's one of the hardest things I find in the summits is really rallying people to be able to promote it, really promote it. But if you promote it, you can do it yourself through social media. You can do it yourself through your email list. You can do it yourself through your affiliates promoting it. Also, I've used different meetups. I mean, if you use meetups, you can utilize that to get an organic traffic to us. So all the events that we do, we use meetups. We can also use Eventbrite for your events. And then even Eventbrite has an affiliate program, has a link for affiliates. So if you put it on Eventbrite, then people can sign into Eventbrite and be an affiliate. And then it just naturally tracks their sales. So that's an easy way. If you say, well, I don't have an affiliate program and not having it incorporated, you can utilize Eventbrite that offers that. You can promote it through just things like Gold Store now. Even LinkedIn has an event calendar, section where you can actually promote events and classes and charge for it. Facebook has an event where you can put an event in Facebook. So, really being able to utilize all the resources available. Someone mentioned this Chamber of Commerce, groups and organizations, like we have a big event at the end of October. So we are contacting groups and organizations from other countries because we now are concentrating on building our membership outside the United States. So just being able to really enroll other people that are involved in it and get everyone into being able to support you in your event. Thinking of all the different ways of being able to do that.